a situation where we had to use a car that was a convertible, and convertibles and my wheelchair do not like each other because my wheelchair doesn't fit in the trunk. So we had to make do, which meant, I would get into the car and you would heroically, Herculean strength, you were using, and would lift my wheelchair over my head, thank you very much, into the back seat. And so
I didn't lift it completely over your head every time.
We're not going there. Don't spoil anything. Okay. I'm setting the scene. And so I was kind of at least on the way there, because you did it perfectly. You were Hercules. You got it over my head. You got it into the back seat. It was nighttime. We had the top down. For a lot of sisters, that would probably feel like a joyride. Like, oh, we are taking our parents' car out, da-da-da-da-da. That was our version of a joyride. We just happened to end up at the ER for our joyride. Our joyride was to the ER. And I ended up being there for hours. I still have some pictures from that night.
Really?
Yeah, because our mom taught us to have kind of like a dark sense of humor when it came to photography. So we actually like to take pictures in our family of the inopportune times, like things that are happening that nobody wants on film. That's when we pull out our camera. So I said, what?
Which I love, of course.
Oh, I know. It's so much fun. And so I said, let's take a selfie. So I'm in my hospital gown and you're there actually dressed for your freaking date. And so I take the selfie and I look at the selfie and I'm thinking, we're on two very different pages. Cause I looked at the picture and I was like, and you had this big smile on your face. If we forget about the post-op complications, I kind of had fun that night. Somehow we worked until the very end.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, we were near a hospital for this.
Okay. No, see, I already see you setting this up so that at least maybe one person might kind of see where you might have a point. You can try. You try. I'm just going to sit here while you do that.
You said that the wheelchair was super heavy. Your head just happened to be in the way. And I think that if you're going to whack someone in the head with a wheelchair, you should do it when you're near a hospital. So, I mean, if you think about it.
So what Leah is scrambling to try and convince you of is that after we left the ER after 6 hours, and me surviving the post-op complication, and remember, we had already done this that night, so we knew Leah could do it. 6 hours, whatever happened. I get in the car. You weren't as motivated to get it over my head this time, were you?
I was tired. It was, I misjudged the distance. Your head wasn't where I was expecting it to be.
So what you do is you beam me in the head.
You are being so dramatic. I barely
with my own foot plate. And yes, this has become our normal. So it's not like I was, really upset about this. I just thought I'd come to a realistic point of view, which was, okay, I understand that potential concussions can happen. What I don't think I'm asking too much in the way of is you giving me a concussion before we get to the hospital, as opposed to 6 hours after we've been there and we're now leaving.
Well, that would have been ideal. But to be fair, this was before you got the lighter wheelchair. I mean, now the wheelchair weighs almost nothing.
No.
What do you mean, no?
No, this one's aluminum. It's not titanium.
Okay, well, you had a titanium wheelchair at one point.
Okay.
That was lighter. This one was not all that light.
I have to say, I was a little worried because you were able to get it over my head the first time. So now, is there a question of, oh my God, has she suddenly lost strength? Do I need to get her to the hospital? Because all of a sudden there's this disparity between, strength Leah had before and strength Leah has now. So So
it was some sort of subconscious revenge for me having to cancel my date. I guess we'll never know.
Didn't even know you had a date until we got there.